A very, very good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Hedge Racing League, season number 6. We're here for round 3 of this 15-race season, and we're at the very familiar Red Bull Ring for the first ever sprint race of the season. First of all, my apologies for not commentating last week's Grand Prix in Hungary. As many of you are aware, we had some personal issues, family-related issues, sadly, that we had to deal with, and still are dealing with, to be fair. It's not been easy, and there was a debate from myself whether to not commentate tonight, but I felt like it was the right thing to do, keep me busy. And the first sprint race of the season, I will try and go over last week's results, the current standings, etc. Throughout tonight. As you normally are aware, we would normally be starting a short qualifying now, but in a moment's time, once the drivers have got the setup started and ready to go, we will be going in a one-shot qualifying, one lap around the track at a fast pace, of course. The man who sets on top after that will gain a championship point, but will also start on pole for the 12-lap sprint race. I'll give you some more information on the sprint race a little bit later on, and then after the sprint race, it'll be the usual feature race. But this will be, rather than a short qualifying, it'll be a very quick one-shot qualifying. I do believe we've got 18 on the grid tonight. A couple that should have been here, sadly not turned up, but still 18 is still a very respectable turnout, and a turnout that I'm quite happy. It could have been great for the full grid for the first sprint of the season, but unfortunately 2 people that should have been here didn't turn up. But we've got 18, like I said, so thank you to 18 that have turned up once again, finally with a very strong grid for the sprint. As Franco has been invalidated already. AFL's invalidated already. So stay on board then with the AlphaTauri. Jack Bauer had a good start to the season in round 1, but missed last week, so got a little bit of catching up after missing. It was a very hectic Hungarian Grand Prix. I did miss the Grand Prix, of course, without the commentary. I did watch it though, and it was a very hectic Grand Prix. But I'll fill in on the results, so where it leaves us with the standings. The very early standings, of course. So just 2 rounds. We've been to Abu Dhabi, we've been to Hungary, now we're in Austria for the first of 3 sprint races this season. We're doing a sprint race in Australia. Oh God, as Bowie has a spin there, and also Britain. We'll stay on board then with the Alfa Romeo of CJT. As I've already mentioned, the man who finishes top here after the one-shot qualifying will gain a championship point. But they also, of course, start on pole for the 12-lap sprint race that is straight after this qualifying session. We'll stay on board then 18. It's, of course, a very short circuit. One of the shortest circuits on the calendar is Austria. Round final corner, and it looks like HRL in the Ferrari is going to start the sprint on top, narrowly edging out our current champion HRL Euro and Nathan and AJ, the Booth brothers. Second on the second row, Mark, Christoph, DCKXI, Pretty, and Jay Lawler. Like the top, he's just missing out on the top 10. So that's a very quick one-shot quality, which sets our grid for the sprint. It's a 12-lap sprint. Safety car is turned on, but there is no pit stops. I've got a quick screenshot of the one-shot quality results there, in case we need them a little bit later. And you can see a couple of DSQs. Franco and AFL. Knight didn't put a lap together at all. Hobbsy was very slow there as well. But Evans will get himself and Ferrari a championship point there. For that one-shot quality, narrowly edging out your own. So that's a point on the board for Ariel Evans and for Ferrari. I'm being told by Hobbsy that we are expecting some sort of rain in the race. Whether that's a sprint race or a feature race, I'm not too sure. We'll find out. Well done to Ariel Evans, who edges out the current Season 5 champion Ariel Eroan, getting a point on the board for himself and, of course, his constructor. Evans had a bit of a mixed start season. He got a podium in Abu Dhabi, followed by one of many DNFs in Hungary last week. So a bit of a mixed up, but does get himself a point there as we get ready now. The drivers get the tyres on for the sprint. Now, I'd imagine the majority with 12 laps probably will opt for the softs here. Softs can go about 12 laps easily, so I'd imagine pretty much all the grid will go for the softs. But safety cars are enabled, of course, as well. Quick little bit of information on the sprint race. Safety cars are on. Pit stops are not required unless necessary. And as for the point system, it is a standard F1 sprint race point system. So the top 8 drivers in this sprint can and will score points. P1 will score 8 points, P2 will score 7, P3 6, all the way down to P8 will score 1 point. So the top 8 drivers in the sprint race can and will score points. However, the fastest lap award does not get given for the sprint. It'll get given out in the main race, but there's no fast lap award for the sprint race. But the top 8 drivers can score points. And Lago's joined. Better late than never. We have got a 19th driver. He's late. Hopefully, he can get into his seat for the start. But don't know if he will now, Fandango. The sprint is dry, I'm being told. But the race itself will have some rain. See, I hadn't mentioned the softs, but a staggering 16 out of the 18 drivers opted for the mediums with Bowie and Doddsy. Now, Doddsy is free fall. He's had a bit of an issue with PSN, I believe, but Doddsy is free fall. They're the only two on the softs, but it's a very heavily medium-dominated grid, 16 of the 18 on the grid. So this one will be a very quick 12 laps, about 15 minutes long, if that. Maybe a bit longer if safety car comes out. You see 16 of the 18 on the grid opted for the mediums, with Doddsy and Bowie, the only two that opt for the soft tyre. Which is interesting. But yeah, as quickly mentioned, quick little run through for you. No pit stops required. Safety car, if needed, is turned on, and as mentioned, it's the top 8 drivers that can score points here. But as it stands, everyone from KXI, and there's Jordan and Nathan, the two championship rivals from last season, a bit of a moment there, potentially. But the top 8, as mentioned, can and will score points here in this Grand Prix. And that'll put us that grid together for what will be a 36-lap race around Austria. Now, Fandango is in the lobby, but I think he may be too late to join for the sprint. He may be able to join for the race. I don't think his car will go on the grid for the sprint race now. However, we now get ready for the first of 3 sprint races, the first official sprint race since they were included in the game, of course, for this year. It is round number 3 of 15 in HRL Season 6 and the first of our 3 sprint races here at the Red Bull Ring. 12 chaotic laps ahead of the drivers, no pit stops required, safety cars turned on if needed. And the reserve of HRL Night going to line us up on the grid, of course, so you can use the immersive grid as well now. Let's get the lights are on. And we're underway for the first sprint race. No, we're not underway, the lights are off, but clearly a glitch. We're not underway just yet. Hopefully no bug again, please. We are now underway for the first sprint race of the season, round number 3 of 15 here in HRL Season 6. Into turn 1 we go. And there's a bit of chaos. Sword of spin involving an Aston Martin. It looks like DC. Bit of chaos here. But the sprint race is well and truly underway. A problem for Jack Priddy, who's dropping positions for fun. Jack Priddy. Safety cars turned on. No pit stops required. But as mentioned in the top 8, will score points. Let's get your changes up for you. A good start for Tino. Up 7 places, but under pressure now from the Red Bull of Bowie. They're from top even. Obviously also a very healthy start, up 6 positions. The top 5 though, not changed, but a good start for Jay Lawler, who's gone from 10th to 6th and put himself well in the points. Jay Lawler, of course, had a tough start as penalty for Bowie and for Cox. But Jay Lawler, of course, a Season 1 and Season 2 champion in this league. DNF'd in Abu Dhabi, missed the race in Hungary, but not scored points yet, and he's constructing Mercedes, the only construction in the opening 2 rounds that are yet to register a point as the yellow flag safety cars aren't able to. Could we see a safety car also involved DC? Also an incident involving Franco as well. Franco just taking a full-time hit for reserve in the opening Grand Prix. But a bit of chaos. You see pit stops as well for RL Knight, AFL and Chris. Also a double McLaren pit stop. McLaren with 2 reserves, so that in the form of RL Knight and Christoph. They are replacing Mazzles and ESW Panda in the McLaren. I'm just going to keep on board with Nathan. I'll message Fandango to let him know he can still race in the Grand Prix. Give me a second. Apologies, I'll just message Fandango. Whenever if again looks to involve possibly a Ferrari of Jack Priddy there. Sorry, I was messaging Fandango. So we are actually on lap 3. You're already a quarter of the race away into this Grand Prix. In the top 5, I've still stayed the same. Evan's still edging Rowan. From Nathan, from AJ, from Mark, J. Love up 4, Hugh Keenan a great position up 5 and put himself firmly in the points for Alfa Romeo as it stands. Coxey was up 3, but a span, and now drops himself out the points. AFL was retired in the pits, becomes our first retiree of the sprint race, but Coxey drops out. KXI now in the points, but obviously want to get in the points himself, currently up 6. Coxey still up 1. And then followed by Bowie and Scott Dodds also up 2. Bad start for Priddy, he's down 4, but AFL out of the session. Christoph and Knight, the 2 McLaren reserves, are in a very tough time of it at the moment. Followed by P2. Franco up 2, but not in the mix. The top 5 on a great battle. Incredibly, on lap 4, there's still no change in the top 5, which is pretty incredible. Still Evans leads, but of course DRS now enabled here. As mentioned, this will be over in a flash for this sprint race. As I mentioned already, it is the top 8 drivers that I'm here from KXI upwards that can score points, and AJ is off the track. A podium sitter last week has possibly just sacrificed himself getting any points in the sprint, as KXI will fly past him. Hobbsy may have a chance as well. AJ for now occupying that final points position, but you feel now could be at risk. Him and KXI making contact. I invite Hobbsy for him as well. He's got Alpine, Red Bull and Haas here. And Hobbsy does fly past AJ, and Hobbsy's teammate Bowie also gets past him, as does Coxey. Now can Coxey have a move on the inside of Bowie? Softy mediums here, but a big problem for AJ now, who's dropping, and they're now firmly out of the points in the sprint. Well, that puts Hobbsy in the points. Hobbsy's teammate though, Bowie, on the soft, one of the 2 soft runners. Him and Scott having a good start to this sprint race, but up the front, the top 3 having a great battle here. It's currently Evans from Euro and from Nathan. Yellow flag, looks like it's AJ again, potentially. But the top 3 in a good battle. Mark and Jake in a bit of space. So is Keane. Keane now in 6th here, up 6 positions in P6. Looking to score a few solid points for himself here. And they've got a big gap behind. The KXI, Hobbsy, Bowie, Coxey, Scott Dodds, etc. All 3. But the top 3 is where it's at the moment. The Ferrari from the Alfa Romeo, from the Red Bull, Evans from Euro and from Nathan. Look at the moment, a 3-horse race. Mark not out of it. Mark, your current championship leader, of course, after the opening couple of rounds, but at the moment, it's firmly a battle between that top 3, and a great battle here with AJ into the pits and joins AFL, and more importantly for AJ, he will now start right at the back end of that grid for the main Grand Prix. So no points for one of the championship leaders at the moment, AJ. Can KXI have a look on Hobbsy here for the battle in P7 on the inside? Contact between the 2. Bowie in the mix as well, and Hobbsy spins into KXI. I think it saved him, and he's lost positions now to Bowie and to Coxey. But potentially Hobbsy there, I've already damaged him, still in the race. Lucky boy there, Hobbsy. But is he lucky in the respect that he's lost out to Bowie, his teammate, and to Coxey? Bowie at the moment now put himself in the points. But the top 3 still good at it, and Evans, halfway through this race, still leads, but has got Euro behind him. And he's got Nathan behind him as well. And all of a sudden, you wonder, can Mark get into this battle? J-Law, no, he's a comfortable 5th at the moment. On course to get a few points here and get on the board for the season. Followed by Keane, KXI and Bowie. Can Bowie get one better than 8th and fly past KXI? I don't think he can. Bowie now up 6 places, putting the Alpha Tauri firmly into the points here. KXI is occupying that final points place, but I'm sure Coxey, Scott Dodds, and maybe even a recovery drive from Hobbsy would still put himself into the mix. Of course, as already mentioned, this also not just points for the top 8, but it does form your starting grid for the main Grand Prix. Well, it'll be 36 laps later. We are expecting rain, so do stick around for that. Could be chaos here. Round number 3 of 15, this HRL Season 6 season, and we are now just over halfway as we approaching lap 7 of this sprint, and Evans still fending off pressure from last year's champion and last year's runner-up Nathan in what is becoming a really good 3-horse battle here for this sprint. I got information off AJ, who's retired. He had rear wing damage, couldn't keep the car spinning in the corner, so had to retire. Penalty for Coxey! Could that possibly hinder his chances of points? Chris Panda says, sorry couldn't make it tonight. Lovely to hear your voice, mate. I'm back next week for Spa. Yes, it is, of course, round number 4 next week. It is the deadly trip to Belgium. What should be a fantastic race in Spa. Thank you for sticking on the stream, Chris, and good to hear from you, my friend. But you're not here tonight, looking forward to having you back next week for Spa. And unfortunately, Chris, for you at the moment, you're reserve filling. You're not doing a very good job, but hopefully they can change that. And Scott, who was in the mix of potential points, is now out of that mix and drops down to 12. Now, Bowie, of course, through the tyres, is on the soft. Oh, yellow flag, and it's a safety car. We got a late safety car in the sprint. It's going to form everyone together. I'm going to cause a right stir, this, isn't it? Of course, safety car is enabled. And as HRL Evans enters lap number 8, a late safety car here to cause some very late drama as the sprint race comes to its conclusion. Bert Maylander and the Aston Martin out. Now, no one's been lapped. And look at this, you can see quite a few pouring into the pits. They're going to put some fresh stuff on to the end. Let's have a look at the tyres. And Bowie, KXI, Coxey, Hobbsy all in. Pretty in as well. And if you're the top 6 all of a sudden, could you be at risk here from all the fresh software? You can see a lot of the boys here. In fact, pretty much all the grid at the back. Going to put some nice fresh softs on the top 6, all still stuck on the old mediums. But everyone behind them, coming in for the fresh soft. DC coming in, Knight coming in, Christoph I'd imagine will come in as well. Christoph's going to get his foot down though, because he's going to potentially get lapped here if he's not careful. But you can see, DC speeding in the pit lane. He may have thought he had a way back into this race with a safety car, but he just threw it away. He's just speeding into the pit lane for the Aston Martin driver. Score points of Abu Dhabi, missed the race in Hungary last week. Not having a very good sprint race here. And you see Christoph going to put softs on as well. So everyone from Keane downwards, 6 drivers on the old mediums, 10 drivers in the pits for a set of new slick softs. Of course, not going to be many racing laps left. Of course, the DRS will not be enabled at the start of the restart. But if you're Keane now, he's done a great job of getting himself into the point. Could be a little bit concerned here, potentially. Knowing that behind you, you've got 10 soft runners. KXI, the quickest soft runner, he could run something out on the restart as well. Bowie does occupy at the moment that final points position. He'll have work to do. Behind him, Coxey and Priddy. 12 penalties, of course. DC will have penalties as well. We're on lap number 9 now even. So at the very maximum, 3 racing laps. That's if the safety car was to come in at the end of this lap. There's no guarantees that will happen. Still 16 of the original 18 left here. Lap number 9 of 12 in this first of 3 sprint races this season. Later on in the season we go to Australia and Britain also for these sprint formats. So it's round number 3, been to Abu Dhabi, been to Hungary. Now we're in Austria, round number 3 of season 6 here. And we've 3 bit laps to go. A safety car going to put everyone to an HRL Evans has led the whole. But it could be interesting now, knowing that a lot of the grid have got these fresh softs, and could the medium runners be at risk here? I'm just wondering where Christoph is on the grid. Christoph's still nowhere near. Could we potentially have one more lap under the safety car and only 2 racing laps. So if you're one of the medium runners, the less racing laps the better. But I think because of Christoph fishing, you could see another lap here. Meaning that we'd be down to a maximum of just 2 racing laps. Good evening to Jacob, glad to see you again, Paul. Thank you, mate. Gutted that you're not currently in this race, but hopefully you can bounce back in the sprint. Just a bit of bad luck. Sorry, in the feature, bit of bad luck. But thank you for coming in the stream, mate. Much appreciated. I think we're going to do one more lap here. It's not coming in this lap. So if you're one of the medium runners in, if you're Evans at the top, you're buzzing. It's one less lap to worry about. So we're going to go to lap 10 here. And have, at a very maximum now, just 2 racing laps here to conclude this sprint race. I know that safety car being turned on in the sprint is a little bit controversial, but it is realistic, you know. You need it. And it'll leave us, I'd imagine now, with a mini 2-lap finale. Now, HRL Evans, who started on pole, has led for almost every lap so far. But the big news is, can he hold off pressure for the final 2 laps of this race? Now, if you're a soft runner in KXI, of course, there'll be no DRS in this race now, which makes things a little bit more difficult. But he'll fancy his chances here, and possibly will Bowie as well. Both currently in the points, but they'll fancy chances of getting a little bit higher. I'm sure Keane will be looking over his shoulder here, and he'll be keen to get this race done. Get it? He'll be keen to get the race done. He's done a good job, CJ Keane so far. He's up 6 positions, which is currently the highest on the grid. Maybe a late dart from someone like Hobbs, though, knowing that both Coxey and Priddy have penalties. Can he try and force his way into the points? But of course, with only 2 laps left and no DRS, it'll certainly be easier said than done. By there's no reason for me why it should come in this spot. Now everyone's in, and it is in this lap, so we'll have, to conclude the first sprint race of season 6, we will have 2 racing laps here, supporting the chat from Panda, from the current race leader Josh. He started on pole. He's still on top, but he's got the current champion and the current runner-up and the current championship leader and the current previous champion all behind him. And of course all the fresh soft runners as well. So can the Ferrari of Josh complete 12 laps on top and win the first sprint of the season? He's got a point to get in pole. He will get another 8 points if he wins this race, but of course this will be a very interesting and tough few laps for Josh. As we approach lap 11 of 12, how will the soft runners look at it? And teams keep an eye on KXI as well. We'll stay on board for now, as he's about to come round the final corner with Josh. You've got your ordination behind him, but we are on the way. Green flag conditions, the sprint race will come to its conclusion. Can Josh defend for these 2 laps? Can KXI on the soft make a dart? All these questions will be answered in these final 2 laps. So, there's 2 laps to go. It's Evans from Rowan, from Nathan, from Mark, from Jake, from P. Yellow flag on the battle track, DC has dropped again. But already, KXI and them brand new soft will fancy his chances here against Keen to get into them places. And Franklin's got past Dodgy, but here you go, KXI is burning, but Keen's going to try and defend for his life, but I don't think there's anything he can do. And KXI has got past one of the medium runners. KXI up into 6th, Keen's still in the points in 7th, but now under pressure from Bowie. Are Keen's points potentially slipping away here in this race? Evans still leads, but Rowan now right on his tail. Nathan dropped a little bit further back from Mark, from Jake, and KXI, of course. KXI now, and he tried, oh, and a big crash involving Mark and Jay Waller. Keen's been popping as well. Oh my god, there is absolute carnage to conclude this sprint race. Oh my god, a huge pile-up that has flipped the grid completely here. Bowie caught up in it, he's out, his chances of points are over. Mark out, Jay Lawler, no wing, his chances of points are over as well as an Alpine off. He's going off in the sprint race, oh my word. And oh, the last lap has Rowan stole it from Evans, it looks like he has. Oh my god. I'm speechless. Jay for now, somehow with no wing, still in the points here. I have no idea how. He's got no wing on the Mercedes, but still occupies a points position. Now surely, as mentioned, Mercedes the only constructor without a point. Surely, so God, Jay Lawler can't finish in the points here. I mean, Hobbs is going to get past him, I'd imagine. If Jay Lawler gets points here, it's quite incredible. But I think with no wing, he could be doing a bit of late pressure here. And gets a penalty, and that does cement it. Jay Lawler will not finish in the points. Carnage to conclude the first sprint of the season here. And it is the current champion Ariel on the last lap, nicking it from Evans. Hobbs going to get past Jake, can't. And we mentioned McLaren having a poor race for the reserves and McLaren. They're both in the points, can you believe that? Unbelievable. Wow, 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 wow. Wow. What a conclusion to the sprint race. That was unbelievable. And both reserve McLarens, who were the bottom 2, they were miles off it before the safety car come out. And they've only got to ended it in the points. Wow. But it looked like it was a collision between Jay Lawler and Mark, and it somehow, unfortunately, Bowie was just caught up in it. And it's heartbreak for Bowie. There are your official points. They are the right points, by the way, as well. So Rowan, right at the death, stealing it from under the nose of Ariel Evans. Nathan getting 6 points. KXI, what a drive from him, getting 5. Keen getting 4. Hobbsy getting himself 3. And then the two reserve McLaren drivers, who, as mentioned, were bottom of the grid before the safety car come out, have somehow both got themselves into the points. Christoph getting 2 points. Ariel Knight getting 1. That's a pretty Jay Lawler, and Franco just missing out, but you got to feel for Bowie first and foremost there, who got caught up in that. He'll now start all the way down in 16th as well. Of course, this sets the grid for the main Grand Prix. Mark and Jay Lawler caught up in something there. It'll be an interesting race with the likes of AJ and the DC being towards the bottoms of it. They are the official points, so you're Owen from Evans, from Nathan, from KXI, from Keane, Hobbsy, Christoph and Knight. How them two McLarens have got points, I don't know, but Chris Pandle will be chuffed with that as a reserve, knowing that he's got 3 points for constructor there. I'm speechless. That is incredible. I said I won't get too excited tonight to get back into it, but I think when you see drama like that, it's pretty hard to not get excited, isn't it? That was just, excuse me, quite a chaotic ending to this of the season. I'm very quickly going to run through your trying to get anything in the chat so you can get any information on what just happened, by the way, because that was any information on what happened. Just trying to find out. Mark lost the car and I went straight into his side pod, full red wing. So looks like after all that chaos, just a racing incident. Mark loses the car, Jake hits Mark, and I'm assuming Bowie then hits them. So just a racing incident, which sounds quite ridiculous. Wow, incredible. We'll move on and get ready for 36 laps now, straight into it. No break. I will quickly run through your standings for you. So we'll quickly run through the race results from last week's trip to Hungary. Again, apologies once more for not being able to provide commentary last week for obvious reasons. Jeroen, the last season's champion, of course, DNF after that big incident with Nathan podium. Last time out, followed by Nathan, the reserve of Ariel Knight, 3-4 Mark, AFL, Pridit, Panda, and the reserve of Wuban. They all score points. Only 11 drivers score points last time out in Hungary, with DNFs for the majority of the grid. Riordan, Farrell, Hobbsy, Evans, Keane, Coxey, Mark Wilson, and Mazzles all DNFing, and that leaves the driver standings as follows. Mark, with 40 out of course, not including the sprint race results, led by 3 points, 37 points to Nathan's 34. Nathan missing out on the championship by 1 point last season, hoping to go on better this time around. Jeroen third in the championship, AJ Priddy, Evan, Jack Priddy fifth, by the way, what a start for him in the championship. Evans sixth, KXI, Mazzles, AFL, and Panda complete the championship top 10. As for the constructors, Williams lead Haas by 10 points, 50 to their 40. Ferrari, of course, gained a few points there. Oh! Well, it's only informational, but that's not what you all want to do at the race start, is it? Wow. Williams from Haas and Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, Alpine, AlphaTauri, McLaren, Red Bull, and Aston Martin. Williams, as mentioned, the only team yet to score a point. That could have ended and nearly ended in the sprint race, then barred the calamity from Jay Lawler. Quite incredibly though, Ferrari in third are only 11 points ahead of Aston Martin in ninth. So it's only early doors, of course. After 2 rounds, it is wide open. And your previous winners in Austria: Jay Lawler won in season 1, Panda season 2, Jay Lawler won it again in season 3. Jay Luke won here in season 4, and last season was also a sprint, a little bit different due to the format not being on the game. But FRL Swinney won the sprint race, followed by, Ariel Evans. He won here last season. He started pole in the sprint, comes second in the sprint, starts second here. 19 drivers Fandango, thankfully, missing the sprint race, but on the grid for the feature race, which is fantastic. Now, up in the grid to 19, another fantastic turnout for this HRL Season 6 Round 3 race. We've had the sprint race. We now get ready for 36 laps here in Austria. And we're underway, round number 3 of this Season 6 race here for the Austria Grand Prix. Evans behind Jeroen as we get down to that very, very short turn 1. There's already yellow flags, already DNF DC! Oh no, DC's out! He had a poor sprint race and he barely made it to turn 1. The Aston Martin of DC is out of this race. Not sure what happened, but DC is out. 18 of the 19 remain. KXI, what an awful start for him. He's dropping like mad. Oh my god, KXI down 5. Mark up 8 on a mission after causing that absolute calamity, shall we say, in the sprint race. But DC, and I wonder if it involved Hobbsy, because obviously he's down 9. I'm only guessing, of course, don't know for certain, but potentially did it involve Hobbsy. Christoph, of course, got in the points for the sprint. He's down 6 now, under pressure, and Scott Fobbs as well. And Scott making a move on the inside of him. I think he has, and now behind his teammate KXI. The top 3 remain the same. Other than that, it changes all around the board. Kino up into 4th, a great start for him, but he's got Ariel Knight and Jay Lawler on his tail, but awful for DC. Barely ready to turn 1, and the Aston Martin crashes out of the Grand Prix. So DC is out. Bowie in the pit, so did it involve Bowie then potentially also? as Ariel Knight under pressure from Keane got past Keane, but now under pressure Keane, of course, no DRS just yet. Will Keane need it? Maybe not. Thought about it, but oh, and went across into Jay Law there. Didn't look good from Keane, and Jay Law from that has also pushed into Matt, so no damage from Jake, but he'll be visibly annoyed there, losing that ground to Matt, who is flying here. Matt up 10, the current championship leader, the man who won the opening race of the season in Abu Dhabi, but Keane not going to make it easy, so I'm going to make him fight for it here. And as Keane got to move back on Mark here, he has some great work from Keane here, certainly not making things easy for the current championship leader, RBL Mark, who is up 9, and on a mission, also DC in the chat, gutted for Dan, mate. I don't know what happened there. If you can give me some insight, that'd be fantastic. I don't know what happened, but obviously I'm gutted for you, mate. Hopefully you can bounce back next week in Belgium, but not that have much consolation right now, which is a shame. Murdered 3 times, that's a shame. Report it all, mate, and we'll look into it. That is a shame. Of course, Kate Tyler pit, so not a good start to Kate Tyler. Podium sitter last week in Hungary. Of course, a great result in the sprint as well, up to P4, but he's already down. Look what's happened to his wing there. There's no wing, is there? It's gone. The top 3, though, still as they were. You're owing from Evans, from Nathan. I am led to believe we are expecting rain at some point in this race. Not sure when that will be, or if that will be, but that's what I'm being told. Of course, as mentioned, the top 15 this season can score points. Evans and Hobbs at the moment upwards. HRL in 6th up to have scored points in both races. Of course, he's the only Aston Martin left in this race currently now as well, so a little bit of pressure on HRL to try and score something for Aston Martin. Has Scott Dodds off the track? He is off the track, Scott. Not sure if he's pushed wide there, but now under pressure from Van Nine. Van Nine go missed the sprint race, but he's making it up for it here, up 5, and now looking for a move on the Alpine of Scott. And I think getting past the Alpine of Scott as well. He has got past the Alpine of Scott, has he? Yes, he has. So up 6, Van Nine. You're only setting past laps here, but still not pulling away from Evans. The yellow flag on the track looks like it could involve Franco. It does, and it's no fly. It's a safety car. A lap 3 safety car, and I'd imagine it's involving that man Franco, who's still in the race, very fortunately still in the race, but has no wing on his car. Franco scored, of course, now full-time driver. He scored points on the opening lap of the season, now he's a reserve. He don't score points tonight, to try and not do that very often. But at lap 4 safety car, should I say. Here. And will anybody go for a very early pit on the grid on the hards, on the mediums, or on the softs? So we'll see if anybody goes for a pit stop here. Round number 3 of this season 6 season here in Austria. We've had the sprint race, we're now 4 laps into the 36 lap feature race. I am told rain is coming. No sign of that just yet. Very, very nice clear skies over the top of the Red Bull Ring. Frankly, I'm such a bottle job, and Jack Priddy is a bottle job as well. Jack Priddy, as mentioned, currently sitting in the top 5 of the championship at the moment. Had a good start to this race as well, but has a drive-through penalty, and that could cost him massively in this race now. Jay Lawler in the pits here, possibly for damage or just for a new set of tyres. Let's have a look. He's on the hard currently. There's a new wing on Jay Lawler's car, so it is a new wing and a set of mediums. Hobbsy also having a pit stop here as well. Let's see what the Alpha Tauri driver goes for, the longest serving driver in the league currently. Also a new wing. Franco, of course, will be getting a new wing. The AFL got for a new wing, AFL I think has as well, so he's up on the new set of hards. There's a change on the grid there. Has Keane got past Mark? Not too sure what happened there. Looks like Keane's got past Mark, has he? So fresh hards for AFL, Hobbsy and Franco. And Keane's now got a yellow flag, a penalty for ignoring yellow flag here. I'm not too sure what's happening here with Keane now. Something involving Mark, I think, in terms of positions. Hopefully it doesn't lead to anything more serious. If that is a bug, I'm sure Keane can report it later on. And we'll hopefully sort that out. I'm going to get a quick drink, back in a moment. Welcome back to this season 6 race here, round number 3 of 15 at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. We are now on lap 6 of 36 here. We've lost one driver, 18 remain, and it's still all to play for here at the Red Bull Ring. We've had the sprint race, which together plenty of drama, that's for sure. And already just a short space of time here, we've seen a lot of drama, an early safety car, an early retirement, and plenty of position changes and penalties at all. So I am going to keep the volume down a little bit now. I've had to open the door to let some air into the room because it's boiling in here. But of course, by doing that, and of course it is late at night, I have to be careful now in terms of making a lot of noise if people being in bed for work, etc. Don't want my neighbours complaining about me doing that for the first time. I do want to thank everyone in the stream for the support. It has been a tough week or so for myself. It's the first time really since it's happened with obviously the news that I have. First I've really been on the mic talking. So again, do bear with me. I do appreciate the patience. And hopefully now this will be a common occurrence, me commentating again. In fact, I need to get back into it tonight, give myself something to do, keep myself busy. I do appreciate all the support that people have been doing this, so thank you. I don't think we're in this lap, are we? No sign of it coming in just yet. You're all nose into the back of it. We're in another lap here. I'm happy to say no one's been lapped as well in the early stages, so everyone in this race that's left still well in the race in terms of fighting for positions, etc. No one's been lapped. I've been told by a few drivers that rain is due later on. Again, there's no really any sign of that just yet, is there? We'll look at the weather now around the track. But it is due later on, and then of course the longer we spend under safety car, and the sooner that rain will come, which could certainly make things a little bit more interesting as this race proceeds. Other than that, not really much more to say as it stands, and I guess be a little bit more, not hesitant, but a little bit quieter now, due to the fact, as I mentioned, that I've had to open the door to let some air into the room, but by doing that, it means that people can hear the outside, so I need to be a lot more quiet now. Again, it's easy if I don't be myself, everyone else. I do get very excited on this sometimes. And also, something happened on track, it'd be very hard to keep my emotions, but I'll do my best. I'll still try and provide entertaining commentary by being a little bit more quieter, so do bear with me on that. And Dirt Maitland will now pull into the pits, and the safety car is in this lap, so we can go racing again, which is fantastic news. Jerome does lead, the current champion of the league from last season. Evans, who's won here in the past in this league, won here last season. Started pole the sprint, was very lucky not to win the sprint in the end, but just got it taken away from him. And Nathan includes the top three. Nathan, of course, runner up last season, missed out on the championship to Jerome by one singular point, but does lead the constructor standings at the moment. But he's the only Williams here tonight, Nathan, with Big Lee not showing up. So if Williams are staying top of the constructor, we need a good point from Nathan to ensure that. Knight is the quickest, the highest medium at the moment. And it looks like you only set off early, it's a very early restart. Will that catch people off guard? It was a very, very early restart from you, Owen. I just wonder how many people that will catch off guard. Yeah, and the green flag from this is once more. Jack Pretty, of course, with that drive-through penalty, how much will that impact him as J. Lawler gets past the Alpine of Scott Dodge? J. Lawler on them fresh mediums now, hoping to get his foot down and secure some points for himself and for Mercedes. As Kino and Knight going at it here. Mark involved as well. A lovely battle here. Oh, and there's contact there between the Alfa Romeo Kino and the Haas of Mark. Mark, as mentioned, your current championship leader. As things stand, can he make a move stick on Kino? I think he can just about. Kino, of course, having to pit soon. Sorry, Jack Priddy having to pit soon, having to serve his drive-through penalty. Kino's got himself a 5-second penalty as well. Oh, Mark's gone. He's managed to save it by losing the car there, giving the place back to Kino, and luckily for Mark, not going off track in terms of losing the car. But a gift there for Kino that he will take with open arms there. We enter lap number 9 of this race. A yellow flag for AFL. Sorry, it's not a yellow flag, a penalty for AFL, should I say. Jack Pretty comes into the pits, it'll put him right to the bottom of the grid here. serving that frustrating drive-through penalty. Now, as mentioned, as everyone's aware, the top 15 now can score points in this room. So even though Jack Pretty's down in 18th, this race is by no means whatsoever over, especially so early on in this race, and still trying to get back into that point position. Coxey making a move on the reserve of Christoph. Christoph scoring points in the sprint for the McLaren team as a reserve. As did HRL Knight as well, who currently occupies that P4 position. But the top three at the moment look in the league of their own, up in the league of their own in the sprint race, and once again tonight they look a little bit better than the rest. You know, we still lead from Evans and Nathan still occupies that P3 position in the Williams. I'd say it's at the moment, I don't want to rule anybody out, but I know I'd say it's a firmly confident 3-horse battle for this win. But of course we're only on lap 9 of 36, a long way to go, and if the rain does go, predicting a little bit later on, that cannon will stir the grid up as Coxey's gone in a wall. He's done a Franco. He's actually done it on the pit entry there, Coxey. Not got damage, but will lose a hell of a lot of positions. He's still putting beach. Is he stuck, Coxey? Surely not. Is Coxey stuck? I mean, he can reset the track if he has to in that position, but it's a very strange one there. He has reset. I don't mind that. I don't mind him doing that. I don't think he's stuck there, but he's lost a hell of a lot of time now. Coxey. As Christoph and AJ going to be able to here, McLaren versus Red Bull, with the Mercedes of Jay Lawler in this fight as well. This could get very tasty here. Jay Lawler going to try and make a lunge on them both. He is. There's 3 wide here. There's literally 3 wide. There's contact between the 3 of them, and I think Jay Lawler, no he's not, unless he forces his way through, but he's not. He's going to try, there's contact between them, and Jay Lawler's lost the car. And there's more frustration for the former Season 1 and Season 2 champion there. 3 wide between him, the McLaren of Christoph, and the Red Bull of AJ. And that's going to drop Jay Lawler out of the point. Maybe one of the steals look at later, but all 3 of them were not going to give up that position there. There's KXI getting very close in the back of Franco and Fandango, the other Mercedes, looking to move on Christoph, but more frustrating for Jay Lawler, who as it stands does drop out the points. KXI gets himself back in the P14 position as we all, and it's Coxey again. He just won. No one, Jack Pretty's gone in the pits also. So Jack Pretty, top 5 in the championship. Is it a pit entry for Jack Pretty? Could be met with another safety car. This could be a long night, this guy, because it's another safety car here. As Fernando gets penalty for 13. Christoph and Coxey span again. And Coxey now, you feel at real risk here of being lapped in this race. But Jack Pretty, back-to-back finishes in the opening 2 rounds, did occupy a top 5 position in the standings, but it's not been his night tonight, and he joins BC as a retirement. So Ferrari down to 1 driver, Coxey in the pits, but will he get lapped, or will he just about be saved here, Coxey? I think he's going to be in trouble, Coxey. He's retiring in the pits, that's it. So the Red Bull of Coxey, his night is over, and we've lost 2 drivers then, say so in a moment or two. And Nathan pitting, Evans not pitting, so some interesting strategy calls here, as we are met of our second safety car. Just a third into this race, we've lost the Ferrari of Jack Pretty and the Red Bull of Coxey there, both on the same lap. The safety car comes out, and we are met with drama upon drama here. Now, only 1 driver as it stands in Jay Lawler left in this race will not score points. As mentioned, it's now a top 15 point system. 16 drivers left, like has only Jay Lawler not in the points. But whether that will change, we will see. Pit stops again from likes of Knight, Christoph Dodsey, Jay Lawler, Keno, and Kate. That's actually Keno, to be fair, has actually dropped now because he's turned a penalty at the back, hasn't he? So a lot of people pitting. The top 4 still on them hards and remain on them hards. The other champion was Owen, who's got opted, unlike his rivals in this race, Evans and Nathan's pitted as well, sorry. So it's Evans who stayed on the hards, and both Bjorn and Nathan have enough of the hards to go into the mediums. So we'll see in terms of strategy whether it's more beneficial for Evans or more beneficial for Nathan. Excuse me, and Girona, of course. Well, they added pace on the mediums for now. Evans with that longevity and keeping track position, but of course got Mark behind him and AJ. There were no slouches. A good start for Fandango, of course, started at the back of the grid due to missing the sprint race. Up into 4th, but has currently got a penalty to his name. AFL also a good start. Another one that has got a penalty at the moment to his name. We've lost Coxey, Pretty and DC at a Red Bull, a Ferrari and an Aston Martin here so far in this Grand Prix. only lap 13 of 36, so still a long way to go here, due to the 2 safety cars, making this a very long race. Dan says Scott will win. Big up free fall. I'm assuming he means free fall. Currently on a fresh hard. Starting 13th, did score a good result last week in Hungary. And once again, Scott in the points after missing the round 1 race in Abu Dhabi. So Scott had a full season, a tough season, where he only scored 1 point in the whole of last season. A previous podium sitter in this league. Once again, firmly in the points. To be fair, pretty much everyone firmly in the points now with a new point system for the top 15 drivers. We are on lap 13 of 36 here in this HRL Season 6 race, round number 3 of the season in Austria, the first of 3 current races this season. Thank you if you are still on the stream, showing your support. We'll get a quick drink and then we'll get back for hopefully the safety car restart very, very soon. And the safety car's in this lap, the second safety car of the race already. Now it was Giro who led the last restart and he took off very early. We are now on board with the Ferrari, the sole Ferrari left in this race after Jack Briddy's DNF of Ariel Evans. Now the question is, will he go early? Earl went about now, so Evans clearly went a little bit, well, definitely later than Erwin. The question is, how late will Evans go? Will he try and bunch up the pack? Mark gives himself a bit of a gap down to Evans. I'm sure Mark will try and pounce here on the Ferrari driver in the Haas, followed by the Red Bull of AJ, of course, the only Red Bull left after Cox's retirement. Evans going to go now, just before the final corner as we approach and enter lap 14 here in this Grand Prix. Evans got a good launch, stays ahead of Mark, followed by AJ, Fandango, Hobbs is a change gears. Nathan jumps you on the restart. That could be a big move that we talk about later on in this Grand Prix. The 2 championship contenders from last season going toe to toe again, and Fandango's gone! And there's more misery for the Mercedes team. The only team, as mentioned, that are yet to score a championship point has lost one of their drivers. Fandango running strong in this race. After this in the sprint race, was running strong here. His race is over and a spin for Scott as well. But Fandango's night is over, and does the Mercedes curse continue? Now every driver left in this race is eligible for points here, as Keenan and J. Lawler going toe to toe. J. Lawler, of course, I didn't say it earlier in the race, didn't we, with Christoph and with AJ, does get ahead of Kino, but as mentioned, the top 15 point system means that everyone else in this race can score points. As we lose Fandango, you're only getting past Barry, but now we have a real big battle here, as Nathan also gets to take on Nathan with a great start here. He'll be open, his former teammate AFL can hold off Owen. You're going to go for a real late lunge there on AFL and get AFL, and AFL now going to be compromised by not 1 but 2 as Bowie and Knight fly past the Aston Martin driver that is yet to pit in this Grand Prix. But I've got to remind everybody, points up for grabs for all of the remaining cars in this race now. So, Mr. Race, he'll get a reward. But Evans still leads just about from the top 4 on the hard, top 3 on the old hard. Has Knight had a problem? He has. Knight off the track. And he'll drop here and lose that to take side also. I think he'll lose that to Kino maybe as well here. Alfa Romeo versus McLaren. Knight may just stay ahead of Kino, but you wonder what position Knight's tyres are in. Nathan now getting past Hobbs here. He is flying here, Nathan. A man on a mission after losing that in the championship by 1 single point last time around. Up to 30, up to 4th for now. His brother, the next car up the road, but the top 3 I've mentioned, so on the Moldar still yet to pit here in this Grand Prix. 2 safety cars in these opening 15 laps. 4 DNFs also, and the rain possibly still yet to come. DRS enabled now, it should allow us for plenty of moves here. Of course, there's 3 DRS trains here. 3 DRS zones, should I say, on this circuit. Giving drivers plenty of opportunity for some moves. But a big gap from the Alfa Tauri down in 6th, the Alfa Tauri down in 7th, and even big gap then down to Christoph in 8th. And J.L. have a look on the back of AFL here. J.L. the sole Mercedes left in this race, looking to score himself his first points, and Mercedes' first points of the season here tonight. Off the track here, and that'll give J.L. a chance for the move. Yellow flag on the track, looks like it's Scott. Oh, what happened there? Oh my word. Franco's out. And it's another safety car, can you believe it? So it's on the juice, the safety car, can you believe? Despite that, can I try to prove it to you before people start complaining? Where will it be under? Will it be under rules and flags? You can see it's on safety car reduced. You can see that down there on your screen. Despite that, that's our third safety car in 16 laps, and the Haas of Franco becomes our fifth retiree of this race. And Bermelander done more laps than half the grid tonight, out again here. Now the top three will pit. Well, you know they won't. The top two will pit. AJ sticking on the hard, and he will now be your race leader here. The Booth brothers will be the top two. But Franco out of this race, and there's one bites the dust here, and free fall. It looked like his race was over then when he spun. In 14th, not been lapped, still in the mix. But a lot of drivers pitting for, again here, J Lawler pitting for soft. Will anyone join J Lawler on the soft? They will. AFL will join J Lawler on the softs. Will CJ Keenan join them on the softs as well? Scott also pitting a little bit further back. Let's see what tyres Keen goes for. Hards to softs. So free of the grid now. Will Scott make fourth? Like I said, I've just been played dominoes with. Submit it, Franco, if it was a dodgy incident, mate, that ruined your race. Please make sure you clip it and submit it for us, and we'll sort it out. Scott does pit for soft, so for the grid now, options to the soft. Actually got fresh softs, fresh hards, and fresh mediums currently on this grid. A chaotic race here. It was a chaotic sprint race, and it's becoming a very chaotic Grand Prix here. We're not even halfway through it yet. We've lost 5 of the original 19 on the grid. 5 different constructors also, a Haas, a Mercedes, a Red Bull, a Ferrari, and an Aston Martin. Lap 17, this is now the third safety car already in this Grand Prix. And we now have fresh softs, fresh mediums, and fresh hard runners, which is crazy. Absolute chaos here in this Grand Prix. Still a long way to go here. No doubt the drama will continue to unfold. But the bottom driver, Scott, with the point system being 15 drivers, on course for 2 points here at the moment. But him and 3 others on the softs. How will the soft runners do? And when is the rain coming? Now, they have been told again that rain is forecast here. But again, however, to me, looks like the rain's nowhere near due. We've still got very clear and sunny skies here in Austria. So if the rain is coming, I'd imagine it won't be till very late in this race. But the more safety cars we get, the sooner it'll be. This is the third one already. We need some racing laps, don't we? The only count is at the moment our AFI team that have got 3 seconds. But we have got pure and utter chaos here in this race. Quick drink. I'll be back with you hopefully for very soon for the third safety car restart. Glad you're only leading on. Glad Evans leading on. Now it'll be AJ. We're still on the old hards. Playing a very bold strategy. Back in a moment. Now we are in this lap to get ready to go racing again. Let's try again, shall we? As the third safety car is about to come in. As mentioned, Owen led the first restart, took away very early. Evans went late. How late will AJ go? Knowing that behind him he's got fresh medium runners and his brother. AJ, the only driver on the grid yet to pit in this race. So you wonder, will that bold strategy pay off, or will it be a strategy he looks back on and regrets? We will see in a moment's time. But we wait for his restart. Like, we won't be in a rush, AJ, on his yard. I'd imagine he'll delay it as long as possible here. I've told Lewis Hamilton restart today. He didn't go to plan, did it, from Mercedes on the safety car restart. They'll go to plan for the Red Bull driver. We will see. Of course, he's not in a rush, and by no means not going to start off good yet, is he? Now, we've seen Evans dart after his corner. Will AJ dart after his corner as well? Nope, it's going to be a very late restart for AJ here, which could make things very interesting. He's still not gone. As he approaches the line, he goes now. Has he caught him off guard? I think it's a great restart. It's a good restart for AJ. He's caught him off guard there. So, AJ from Nathan, from your own volunteers, here's Evan. Oh my god, look at this turn. Oh, just a moment ago. Everyone to the fairs. Got away in part from J Lawler. More misery from Mercedes. What is going on Mercedes? I don't know. But J Lawler caught up him once again and down to 14. Oh, Keen. Very nearly hitting the back of Scott. Gets past Scott. I don't like having DNS in this league, but I think this might not be the only DNS we see tonight as the chaos continues here in this Grand Prix, and there's more drama. think HRL Knight's gone off. I think he has gone off HRL Knight. He's off the car. As we approach lap 20, as the chaos is just continuing to pour out of this Grand Prix. We've lost 5 drivers, and I feel as much as I regret saying this, it might not be the only 5 drivers we lose here, because the racing is very aggressive tonight. I think the engine scene could be a busy one this week. As AJ, to be fair, still defending Omaha, he'll be a quarter of a lap or so. Staying ahead of his brother, who's ahead of Hero, and Hobbs is still 4th. Christoph and Evans looking to get past Christoph and getting past Christoph here with the 5-lap pressure medium tyres. Scott in the pits, hopefully not giving up. Looks like he's not giving up. Good stuff, Scott. Keep doing my fun on 3 points. As things stand, as Christoph losing a couple positions there, down into 7th. Scott in the pits for mediums now. Lap 20, 14 of the original 19 remain. We've got 16 laps to go here in this race. Harry Evans gets past M_Hobbsy. Hobbsy and Evans on much different tyres now. One on old hards, one on new mediums. And speaking of old hards and new mediums, Nathan gets past his brother AJ. And you wonder now, AJ's possibly a hard stop, one stop here. But how much time will he lose now on these old hards as they start to deteriorate, a little bit sluggish? He's got the current champion on his tail as well now. You only want to get past 18 and start putting pressure on Nathan, that's for sure. I have been told Rainey's due, but as long as this race is on, I feel like it's not going to happen. The weather sort of over the track. As you only expect to fly past AJ now. Yellow flag once more, and it's involved KXI, I think it has. The same spot by Jane all over the car. KXI, a podium sitter last time out in Hungary. Yellow flag up here as well. There's so many yellow flags here. Who's that? It's Owen. Oh, it's Owen. His chances of battling Nathan have took a big kick. He's down to 12th here, Owen. What has gone on there then? Well, does get involved AJ potentially, I'm not too sure. But you're on a mixed start to the season for the current Drivers' Champion. Of course, DNF after pushing with Nathan in round 1. Following it up by with a win in Hungary last week, so a DNF and a win for Owen, but currently now down in 12th here. As Nathan leads this race by some margin at the moment. Evans back in the podium places as he was in Abu Dhabi. Evans another one though, podium in Abu Dhabi, DNF last week in Hungary, so it's been a very mixed start for all the drivers really. Mark is the champion, or was the champion, which I say go into tonight's race. Will that change with 14 laps to go as he remains in P4? Owen not pitting, so clearly no damage on the car, Jerome, but down in 12th now with work to do before back into this race. In terms of the constructors battle, a good result so far for Haas, for Alfa Tauri, should I say, not for Haas, for Alfa Tauri, sat in P5 and P7 respectively. One of the strongest teams on paper, I'd say, are Hobbsy and Barry. I'm sure they both won't mind me saying they won't necessarily compete for wins week in, week out, but they'll be well in the mix for midfield points, that's for sure, as the Ferrari and the Red Bull. Tough one here, and Evans now getting past Nathan for the same. I need to highlight, our Evans has got 5 laps better tyres than Nathan. So is he potentially the race favourite now, Evans? Now, once he's got past AJ, kick on and put Nathan under pressure here. AJ has just stayed in DRS now, which could help him keep ahead of Mark. I don't think it'll be long until Mark makes a lunge and makes a move on the Red Bull driver, whose hard will start to feel a little bit sluggish now. As for the softerers AFL, Mr. P8, still in P8 of course here, but he's one of 2 drivers, and to be fair, I'm quite surprised, amidst all the drama here, that we've not had penalties in this race, only 2 so far. The track can be known for the penalties, especially on the final corner of the lap. As Hobbsy and Christoph win wheel to wheel hards versus mediums, a little bit of contact there. Christoph got the inside line, obviously going to try and go the long way round, and I think Hobbsy's got the position for now anyway, he has. And Christoph now in a bit of an Alfa Tauri sandwich here, ahead of Bowie, but behind M_Hobbsy in the battle for P5. Over the road, you can see the French flag, can't you? Blue, white and red on the map at the bottom right of your screen. As Evans leads from Mark, but Mark starting to reel him in. Nathan looking like the on-track favourite at the moment. If Nathan was to win tonight, there's 3 different race winners in 0.3 races of the season. After Mark's win in Abu Dhabi and Jeroen's win in Hungary. Of course, one way to go until that is confirmed though, 12 laps here. And again, I don't think rain's coming unless it's very, very late. There's no sign of the track getting any cloudy or any dodgy conditions here. As Chris trying to go long way around here, go on the grass here and does get past Hobbsy. Hobbsy now potentially under pressure from his teammate Bowie. Oh, and Christoph Spanner lost the car and he's gifted the positions now, not just to the AlphaTauri team, but to the majority of the grid. He's down now in 12th, Christoph, possibly 13th, take side, get past him as well. So AlphaTauri down in 5th and 6th, looking very strong here. Will they work together, these two? That is the question. Is Knight and Keane going to have to an area Knight on them hard, getting past the soft runner of Keane now, I would imagine. These guys softs here, Keane, Jake and AFL, they'll start to deteriorate. And they'll possibly doesn't running tyres, but they'll certainly start to deteriorate as these laps progress now. As we do come towards the latter stages of this Grand Prix, we're now 2/3 of the way through this round 3 race here, the season number 6 in Austria. We've lost 5 of the original 19. We've still got soft, medium and hard runners here. And then led to believe rain is on the way, but whether that'll happen or not, I'm not too sure. And Bowie, bottle job, Bowie's done it again, and he was in such a good position in 6th for himself and his team. And he's going to go from 6th here to quite possibly P13 at the moment. Sam if Christoph can get past him. So Bowie throwing it away here as Jeroen gets to London. Jay Lawler, 2 previous champions here. Scott now at risk of being lapped here. But he just wonder there, Bowie gets back into 11th, but that's no comparison to the P6 that he was in. Bowie throwing big points away there, potential for himself and for AlphaTauri. Towards the front, Mark and Evan still good at it, and they both are starting to just creep up on Nathan. I think they're closing up by about 3/4 tenths there. So a real good battle here between the Williams, the Ferrari and the Haas. Can Jeroen get his foot down and put a late battle in this race? It does look like there's a few dark clouds starting to appear over the track, so maybe that's to go here. Maybe too late for rain, with the track and the laps being so quick, but quite possibly we could see a little bit of rain to end this race if the weather can change quickly. Now you can see that it doesn't look like a little bit go. Jeroen setting fast laps here. Don't rule out the current champion just yet as he gets on the back of his REL teammate Knight. Yellow flag, it's Hobbsy! And both AlphaTauris have gone from P5 and P6 to out of the top 9 in a matter of a lap or 2. Hobbsy in P5 on course with some brilliant points, has threw it away. He's now down in 13th. You can see the on-track conditions have changed and some dark clouds are starting to form over the track in certain areas. But Bowie down in 10th, Hobbsy in 13th, them two running P5 and P6 a lap ago. That's how quick things can change. As Jay Lawler, who span earlier, getting his race back on. He's got past Keane now on into P7, but Hobbsy and Bowie there throwing big points away potentially for AlphaTauri, running in P5 and 6 at one point. That's only going to give you all more confidence there, give you all more positions up into 5th. The top 3, though, what a battle there with the lap car and Scott. Can always sit and watch the top 3 fly past him. It's still Nathan from Evans from Mark from Nathan. He's held on 26 laps on them tires. After pit, won't he? Especially if he'll be pitting for soft. Will be pitting for intermediate, so well, I don't think the rain will come in time. The race is coming to an end here. We are getting to darker clouds. Will the rain come in time, more importantly heavy enough, so the drivers have to pit for intermediate? Yellow flag on track, it's Mark. Mark's in the wall. Another one of the favourites, the current championship leader, spinning, and he'll lose a chunk of positions down to Jeroen and tonight, and potentially to Jay Lawler as well. Mark now, no visible damage, but all the way down into P6 and to put AJ back into the podium place and potentially now make it a 2-horse race. Hobbsy's done it, it's lost it again. Hobbsy's in a wall, he's got damage, he's got no wing. Hobbsy's completely thrown the race away. A P5 for Hobbsy, and now potentially only a P13 for Hobbsy. The track is getting cold, but I wonder, will they getting double enough? That is the question. 8 laps to go, a penalty for Jay Lawler. Will he be throwing? Everyone's throwing big points away here. No one wants them, no one wants the points. But at the front, only 3 tenths now from the Williams and Nathan from the Ferrari of REL Evans. A big battle in field for the race win, unless things change from the Williams and the Ferrari. Evans, his mediums are in much better condition than his championship rival. Was a battle as well for third here as well. Is it almost like it's the black car is 3-4, isn't it? One of these field battles from JLR downwards though. And Bowie all of a sudden, without penalties, could jump a few places here and rekindle his race. Hobbs in the pits now. I'd imagine for a set of softs. So I think rain could come, but I think it'll be far too late for this rain to come now and cause any impact in terms of tyre wear. It's dull, but it's not dull enough, is it? Thank you to the ones that are still in the stream as we do come towards the end of this round 3 race here in Austria. Nathan leads, but only by 3/10 now to the Ferrari of Evans, in what's been a chaotic race here in Austria. Lap 20 there of 36. Rain possibly inbound, but still clear skies at turn 1. Don't think it'll be inbound anytime soon. It's certainly not to impact this race in terms of tyres. I don't think we're seeing intermediate tyres tonight, that's for sure. Mark in the pit, having to pit now due to damage. And that'll end the match race. The championship leader, he'll drop massively now. Here, all the way down to P12. So big points lost for Mark and big points gained potentially for his rivals. Will Evans make a lunge on Nathan? He thought about it. Thinks better of it though. Support for Chris Panda, for his boy Josh, the Welsh support in the chart. It is England v Wales here, as it will be later on this year in the World Cup, and the rain is starting to fall on track. There is spots of rain falling. There's still the best part of 7 laps to go here, and we do have rain in Austria. The rain will come and it will play its part in this race. The first rain we've had all season. Yellow flag, it looks like it's Bowie again. It is bottle job Bowie. AlphaTauri throwing it away here. But we have rain, and will we see intermediates here? Or will it be not enough? But the rain, as you can see here, is starting to fall down pretty quickly on this circuit as night. As you're on pits. Wait, surely not for intermediates. AJ's pitting here, and he's opted for the inters. Oh my god, he had to pit for something. People are pitting, is he coming that quick? Surely not. Everyone's pitting for inters, oh my god. Everyone's pitting, and you can see it is the intermediate tyre on the majority of cars. Now DRS, as far as I'm aware, is still enabled. The rain has only been falling for half a lap, but to be fair, it looks like it's falling at some speed here. And it looks like we'll need the intermediate tyres. And you can see the majority of the rain going into the intermediate tyres. So some late rain drama here in this Grand Prix. Yellow flag on track. Looks like it's KXI the wall, and he's on the mediums. His race is over a podium last week. Possibly not now. But where's this rain come from in half a lap? It is battering down on the track now. And there's still 6 laps to go. The rain is hammering it down, and here the track is wet. And the top 2 are in the pits, and Nathan speeds in the pit lane. Nathan's threw it away. He's threw it away, and it's a massive advantage now for Josh. Nathan, what an error. And it now goes back to that man, the Ferrari of Josh. He's the favourite now. Oh, Nathan. Nathan, who comes second last season, missed out on the championship by a point, has just potentially threw it away to that man, Josh. A penalty and speeding in the pit lane. AJ, by pitting a lap early, has reeled him in as well now. Could he be on for beating Nathan here? Yellow flag on track, looks like it's KXI, who's not made it to the pit. The only driver still on the dry tyre. Oh, we've got rain. It's coming down at some speed here. It's going to make it a very dramatic end. It's been a dramatic race already here, actually. Lap 31. Making a penalty, not just at risk of losing the P1, but potentially losing the P2 to his brother. AJ looking to get back-to-back podiums, AJ. Could this be his season? Drama upon drama here. Kicks and limps into the pits. Wow. What a race. And they're in out of nowhere, not just falling now, but falling at some speed, and it's hard to hammer the track. And it'll make these last few laps even more tricky for these drivers. 5 laps to go here. And 5 laps that'll be done in certainly wet weather conditions here, just to make what has already been a very interesting race a little bit more interesting. We've been to Abu Dhabi, we've been to Hungary, and Austria's cried an absolute tree here in hour number 3. And one little mistake here could be costly. That little mistake for Nathan Seed in the pit lane looks to be costly. Has he thrown his first race of the season away here? To potentially, as it stands, this man Evans, who knows he's got 105 seconds. And the win will come to him. He won here last season. Is he about to win here again here? HRL Evans, and put his stamp down on a potential title fight Yellow flag on track, looks like it's an AlphaTauri once more. A tough end to the race here for Bowie and Forbes after being in such a promising position for a long time in this race. Nathan though, he's starting to pull a gap on Evans here. He's Nathan's got a chance still of winning this race. The gap now over 2 seconds. Just wonder. Nathan starts to pull away. Can he provide a miracle here and still win this race? It's a big ask, of course. But whether it is Nathan or HRL Evans who wins this race, it will mean another new race winner this season. Mark in Abu Dhabi, Jeroen in Hungary, followed by one of these two potentially. So it'll be 3 different race winners in the opening 3 races, which is fantastic for the league in terms of, you know, variety. As we enter the final 4 laps here, the race seems to fall on track and make things very slimy. The gap, you can see, are massive now, really. Keenan and AFL is the closest gap on track. Philip Magellan, that he's on course for some points here to kick off his and Mercedes season. As mentioned, Mercedes the only constructor in the opening 2 rounds yet to score a point, but that could end now with Jay Lawler if he can bring the car home after a tough night. And even Scott, to be fair, is not giving up tonight, as he on course for a couple of points for Scott and for Alpine, so well done for Scott for that. Not giving up, which I love to see. A tough night for Alpine and Barry, who will score points, or will they? Barry losing the car again, and what I will say about AlphaTauri is they're going to score a couple of points in between them. But what could have been, they were 5th and 6th respectively a few laps ago. They're now nowhere in the top 10. That's how quickly things can change. There's a nice little battle here, to be fair, 4-7. In fact, Griffith's not in penalties, he could be the favourite here, the reserve in the McLaren. Now, Chris Hamlin, you're in the chat for it. You both scored your points in the sprint. And they're both currently on course for some good points here as well in the feature as well. Yellow flag on track looks like it could be Scott. I think it is Scott. The reserve McLaren boys doing a good job tonight, that's for sure. The gaps are big though, but not big enough for Nathan at the moment. He's getting bigger, that gap, now over 3 seconds. But in less than 3 laps, can he pull 5% on Evans, or will that costly error in the pit throw his race away here and gift the win to the Welshman in the Ferrari? We will see. The gaps here are massive now, to be fair. And in terms of pin changes, not many really, apart from possibly this one here, the P7. Involving AFL Keenan and Christoph. Christoph, of course, as it stands, we'll get them both. As things stand, but you just wonder, 3.4 the gap now. He's got 2 laps yet, Nathan here. Yellow flag. Looks like it's KXI, it is KXI who's not out of the race. But I think, I suppose it's mixed emotions KXI after last week, of course, getting a podium last time out in Hungary. So barely scoring points tonight in Austria. A bad night for Alpine. They'll still score points, both of them, but so will AlphaTauri, but not as many as they would have hoped for. Mark in 10th, a poor night for Mark, the man who started the season as a championship leader. Only going to get a P10 as things stand. But the main battle here seems to be for 7th with AFL Keen and the McLaren of Chris. As mentioned, Chris, I've not got penalties compared to the other 2 that have, so that will favour the McLaren reserve at the moment. In a pretty much world of his own here, penalties shouldn't really impact anybody. The fact that he starts 6th and no one's near him won't gain or lose any places, I don't think. Ariel Knight, the reserve McLaren driver, looking to get back-to-back points to the reserve here and bring home a P5. You're only a P4. I say only, it's still not a bad result, but he's going to be a little bit frustrated going tonight after winning in Hungary last week. Not getting a podium tonight. But the podium looks to be going to the Boo brothers and to Ariel Evans. He's 1 lap away here now from winning this race. He got pole for the sprint race. He lost the sprint race to Jeroen with less than a lap to go. But is the Welshman going to get his first win of the season here due to Nathan's speeding in the pit lane issue? There's no doubt Evans has great pace tonight. He's shown that throughout the Grand Prix and throughout the sprint race. And he looks like he's on course here now due to a big error from Nathan to win this race and become our 3rd different race winner in the opening 3 rounds of this season. We had Mark in Abu Dhabi, we had Jeroen in Hungary. Will it be Evans or Nathan here in Austria? It feels like it's going to be RB Evans now due to that costly speeding in the pit lane penalty for the Williams and Nathan. The Ferrari R11's Chris will be happy in the chat. Wales flag flying high, potentially over the Red Bull ring here. A difficult night for Ferrari with Jack Priddy, who's had a good start to the season, not scoring points. It'll be big points for R11's. A pole point from the one-shot quali, 7 points for the P2 in the sprint, and potentially some big points now to crown his night off here with the race win. Fastest lap's going to go to Jeroen, but the winner of this Grand Prix, despite a brilliant effort from Nathan to pull away from him, is going to go to the Ferrari and to relentless Evans. He wins the Austria Grand Prix and becomes a third different Grand Prix winner in the opening 3 rounds. AJ does get back-to-back podiums, a stern drive from him after a tough sprint race. Well done to him. P4 for the current Drivers' Champion, HRL Jeroen. Yeah, Dan, he had a penalty. Speed in the pit lane penalty right at the end of the race. That's why he's lost the P1. Ariel Knight with a very dramatic stop on the line. J-Lo does score points for Mercedes for himself, the first points they will score this season. AFL, after a brilliant drive again from him, DCC mate, has now scored points in every race here and brings home a P7, or a P8, sorry, because Christoph jumped them both. So Christoph 7th, Keen 8th, AFL 9th in the end. Only 10th for the drivers. What has happened here? Only 10th for the current drivers leader Mark. A poor end for Alpha Tauri, who at one point were in a great position for 5th and 6th. They will both get points, so it'll be 11th and 12th for Hobbsy. And that concludes round 3, the Austrian Grand Prix here in HRL Season 6. What a race. What a race. And a race that ends with the Welsh flag flying high over the Red Bull ring, because Relentless Evans is your winner for himself and for Ferrari. Some big points for him tonight as well, winning the 25 points for this, 7 points for the sprint race, and a point for the pole position. I'm not great at maths, but I think that's a solid 33 points for himself and for Ferrari. Will that be points that's going to be enough to take him to the top of the championship? We will see. It was Haas's night in Abu Dhabi. It was Alfa Romeo's night in Hungary. It's Ferrari's night in Austria. Ariel Evans wins the Austrian Grand Prix with the Booth brothers. Nathan, who will be ruining that speed in the pit lane penalty, and Nathan completing an all-British podium to conclude a chaotic night of racing. There's your points. It says 32, but of course they'll get the point as well for the pole position in the one shot. So a great night's work. Nearly a perfect night's work for Ariel Evans, who gets 33 points tonight. 24 for Nathan's, good points for him, 21 for Jeroen as well, after winning the sprint race. 15 for AJ, 11 for Aaron. Chris Panda, you can't complain there. Your reserve boys in the McLaren doing a good job there. Kino in the end doing a great drive, 8 points for himself and for Alfa Romeo. No points in the sprint, but over 8 points in the race for J-Law to kick off his and Mercedes' season. KXI, and then they'll be disappointed, won't we? Of course, not including the points that's not been given there due to the top 15, but not his night after getting a podium. Hobbs at AFL, Mark, Bowie and Dodds complete your points tonight. Of course, Franco, if you go to the race, there you go. Did end with a DNF, didn't he? There you go. Franco, Fernando, Coxey, Pretty, DC, DNF. Scott does get points, and there is your results. We'll get a quick screenshot of them, so we've got them for reference. I'm sure it could be a busy night in the steward's room, that's for sure. Just grab all the results that I need, just so I've got them for reference. There we go. So that concludes your Austrian Grand Prix. That concludes round number 3 of this HRL Season 6 season. Thank you so much for your love and support on stream. No interviews tonight. I'm just not feeling up to it, if that's okay. I do apologise for the top 3. Maybe in a week or 2. It was great to be back on commentary. I'm really glad I did it now, so like I needed to do it in what has been a tough few weeks for myself. Thank you for the love and support in the stream as always, and thank you to the guys that turned up and of course that raced, because without these guys it wouldn't be what it is this week. So thank you, congratulations to the podium sitters and everyone that scored points. I should be back, all being well, next Sunday night, 9:15 for round number 4. We are in Spa for this season's Belgium Grand Prix. That should be a fantastic race, shouldn't it? In Belgium next week. I can't wait for that one. Should definitely throw up a bit of a storm We all know how chaotic that Grand Prix can be. We're going from one of the shortest circuits to the longest circuit in Belgium next week. Can't wait for that. So all being well, I should see you next Sunday night for round number 4 of hedge racing in Belgium. Also, hopefully back in Cologne this week on Thursday night commentating Cologne. I think it's Suzuka, Japan this week. Hopefully I'll be back commentating Cologne if I feel up to it on Thursday as well. Make sure you show some support to Cologne and love to Cologne this week on Monday and Thursday nights. And then back here next Sunday, as mentioned, for round number 4 of HRL. It's been an absolute pleasure being back on commentary tonight. Thank you so much for your support with me. Well done to that man, Relentless Evans. He wins. He becomes the 3rd different race winner in the opening 3 rounds. It should definitely spice up that championship a little bit now. Of course, still 12 long rounds to go as we approach Belgium next week. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you next week for the Belgian Grand Prix. Have a great week. Good night.